Tonight on Reel to Reel, we'll see a businessman who puts his full time into a corporal work of mercy.
We'll meet the authors of a trivia game for Catholics.
Dr. Richard Fitzgibbons confronts the battle of the sexes.
Rosemary Bruno will put us in the know.
And we'll take a look at the Franciscan way of life through its art. Hello, I'm Father Dave McAllen.
And I'm Isabel Gavry. Welcome to Reel to Reel.
Belle, how are you at trivia games?
Well, you know, if I must say so myself, Father, I'm pretty good.
Well, let's just see how good she really is. What nationality established the first ethnic parish in the U.S.?
Oh, that's easy, Italian.
Wrong. How many stairways are there in the Vatican?
How many? 33.
Wrong. And who's the patron saint of TV?
Fulton Sheen.
Wrong. These questions aren't from Trivial Pursuit. They have a decidedly Catholic bend to them, and that's because they're from a trivia game established for a very specific audience.
Well, so what are the answers?
Trivia. It's taken the country by storm. To know the insignificant answers to equally unimportant questions has become a national obsession. And nothing captures the spirit of triviality better than the popular parlor game Trivial Pursuit, where questions like, in what country is the highest golf course in the world located, challenge us to prove just how much we know about very little. And being true to the addictive nature of trivia, this game has given birth to a number of spin-offs. Now you can test your knowledge of useless information on such important subjects as Ripley's Believe It or Not, rock and roll, or the TV show MASH. And for those of us weaned on the Baltimore Catechism under the watchful eye of any religious sister, we can now test our knowledge with the new game of Catholic trivia.
What is the Church's dedication for the month of May?
The Blessed Mother, Mary.
We put it together because we thought that it was a good way of, first of all, involving people in a social, non-threatening situation. We also thought that Catholics needed their own game, that a Bible game didn't say everything that there is to say about being a Catholic.
The co-creators of the game, Linda Bateman of Woodbury Heights, New Jersey, and Dorothy Stone of Philadelphia, decided a trivia game would be a good way for fellow Catholics to dig up their religious roots.
We remembered catechism class, we remembered Who Made Me, and we wanted to incorporate all the heritage and the ceremony and the history and what we had to be proud of in a trivia game that would be just for us.
While the game has been available since April of 1985, research for the game of Catholic trivia began in the summer of '84. Linda and Dorothy spent countless hours paging through encyclopedias, books, and magazines to come up with the 3,000 historical and current event questions that make up the game.
We wanted to make sure that our answers were verified by at least 2 different sources, and we wanted to cut through and make sure that what we were saying was factually true and not just traditionally or according to custom. If we couldn't verify it through something printed, we many times had separate lists, and I would say, oh, call this one, or we'd go here or go there and try to verify it, and if we couldn't verify it, we just threw it out.
The game is played like bingo. On each card are numbers from 1 to 5. The numbers designate the difficulty of the question, 1 being the easiest and 5 being the hardest. The colors designate the category. You can choose from famous martyrs, saints, and sinners, authors, books, the Bible, and blessings, in the news and entertainment, the Mass, sacraments, liturgy and prayer, and pre-Vatican II history. The roll of the die determines the level of difficulty of your question, and you choose whatever category you need to be the first to get 5 markers in a row and win the game.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, you won.
Bing. Hey.
Some of the questions concern pre-Vatican II history and the translation of Latin phrases. Is this game mostly for adults?
No, the game is not just for adults, even though there might be a few retired altar boy questions in the Latin category, because the American history is something that's covered more certainly in the very early grade. So the adults might do a little better on the Vatican I questions, but the children will do better on the history questions.
This is a tough one. How many female doctors of the church are there?
2.
You knew it! Here at St. William's Elementary School in Northeast Philadelphia, Sister Benjamin has used the game of Catholic trivia as a teaching tool for her 8th grade religion class.
As a religion teacher, this could be used to reinforce concepts that were already given to children in the religion class. Although this game has no official endorsement, it is a good tool because it works to help the children be excited about their religion. I think because it's a game, less stress is placed upon things that might be difficult answers in a religion class or in a formal setting.
The whole intent of our game, I think, and of our questions is also that you learn something. It's not just, oh, I got that wrong, oh, stupid. It's, oh, I didn't know that, and I don't mind getting them wrong, and I still get them wrong all the time.
The game of Catholic trivia received national exposure when Dorothy and Linda were invited to appear on Mother Angelica Live on the Eternal Word Network.
Mother Angelica couldn't have been more supportive. She was just so tickled, and when we got on the air, she's saying, this is a great game, and she told the audience that she had gotten a question wrong, and she was telling everybody to go out and buy it. It was just wonderful.
Well, I would suggest you make a real effort. Every Catholic family in America should have one of these. And I encourage you to run out and get one. If you can, write to me, and I'll tell you where. If I have any, I'll send them to you. You need to go. Why did you use this bingo? Aren't we ever going to be unblessed?
Well, it may never be as popular as Trivial Pursuit, but for a very specialized segment of the population, the game of Catholic trivia may soon become the newest rage in trivia. What nationality established the first ethnic parish in the U.S.? The Germans. How many stairways are there in the Vatican? 997. And who's the patron saint of TV? St. Clair.
The game of Catholic trivia is available at Lionel Kitty City and other toy stores throughout the city.
Coming up next, we're going to take a look at art and the Franciscan way of life.
And Rosemary Bruno will join us with In the Know, so stay with us.
It's dynamic. It's really dynamic.
Acting is top-notch. The staging is creative.
You can almost touch the actors. You're right there.
Innovative, exciting, unexpected.
If you're worried about your dollar, this is the best bargain by far.
Delightfully friendly ambience.
There's a chemistry there that makes it enjoyable to attend the theater.
An experience you'll talk about. Villanova Theater. For information, call 645-7474.
St. Francis was one of the most gentle of saints. When we picture him, we imagine him peacefully surrounded by wild animals and gentle ones as well. The men and women who strive to follow the spirit of St. Francis strive to express this same sense of peace with themselves and with nature in everything they do.
For this reason, art in the Franciscan orders is also a way of life. For some, it is an outward expression of what they see in nature. For others, it is a way to look within, searching for the self. At the end of this unpretentious country road in Aston, Pennsylvania, you will find a tradition of artistic expression that predates the Renaissance. Mention art in the Delaware Valley, and names like the Philadelphia Art Museum, the Moore College of Art, and the Barnes Foundation readily come to mind. Few people would think to add the mother house of a religious community to that list. But here in Aston, Pennsylvania, at Our Lady of Angels Convent, the Sisters of St. Francis have long nurtured the Franciscan tradition of inspiration, comfort, and hope through the creative expression of art. Sister Linda Vonderschmidt has been a Franciscan sister for 20 years. She has been an artist all of her life. In the Franciscan community, both her vocation and her talent have been nurtured. Recently, Sister spoke with us about her work, her role as a Franciscan artist, and how her work reflects the Franciscan call to be part in the ongoing creation of the world.
The art was just something that was very much a part of me, and if anything, as long as I have set my foot in this door, in the door of the Sisters of St. Francis of Philadelphia, that probably, the fact that I have artistic ability, has been one thing that I have been known as having. Francis was very attuned to the sense of creation. We as Franciscans are in truth called to, continue a sense of that. I suppose the best connection that Francis had and the best connection that I as a Franciscan see, I have got to be free enough to allow that material to do the best that it can do.
Sister Linda shared with us her work in progress, a mural for an Oblate Life Center in Maryland.
It has the spirit, the image of the spirit as a dove, as its center. And again, interestingly, when I actually set to work in the actual size, which is 23 feet by about 56 inches, I started with that image. I started with the spirit in the center and then worked to the outer edges rather than working from left to right or right to left, so that you get the sense of an exceedingly bright light.
For another perspective on the Franciscan artist philosophy, we spoke with Sister Christopher Marie Wagner, professor of art at Newman College.
The church art of today, or religious art of today, is not only pertaining to works that we hang within our churches, but also expands out into the whole world of art, because it's our inner spirituality that's being shown through our work. For instance, in my own work, I've developed this symbolism of a chair as representing the spirit of a person. In one particular series that I have done, I have used the chair to represent the person facing decisions within life, or the need to make a transformation from one stage of life to the next, whether it's in a particular type of work that the person's doing, or in moving from this life to the next life through death.
Both Sister Christopher and Sister Linda have found inspiration for their work in the spirituality of St. Francis. And for Sister Linda, there has been another source of inspiration, the philosophy of Zen. In Homecoming, which hangs at Newman College, Sister reflects the Zen philosophy that looking at a beautiful object is the same as beholding one's native home, and then combines this approach with the belief that Franciscans are called to a greater sense of home, to their authentic home in the Lord.
I see myself as an eye-opener. I want to give anyone who sees my work the opportunity to see things in a new way.
And now let's find out what's new in the news with Rosemary Bruno.
Thank you, Father, and good evening. Excerpts from a wide-ranging report on the state of Catholicism in the United States were released last week, prepared by the National Conference of Catholic Bishops at the request of Pope John Paul. The report addressed many areas of interest to Catholics. It said that evangelization has declined as U.S. Catholics seek to understand what it means to be a mission church serving the unchurched. The report said the U.S. Church has an opportunity to learn from other areas, particularly the Third World. In the area of ecumenism, the report stated that efforts must be made to counter proselytizing by Protestant fundamentalists, while at the same time Catholics should pursue authentic ecumenism. The bishop said the church must reach out to and develop leadership among blacks, Hispanics, and recent immigrants, and said particular attention must be given to women. The report said their role must be clarified and include leadership and decision-making positions. The role of priests was also addressed by the report, which said nothing should be done to devalue or de-emphasize the importance of the priesthood in the life of the church. Because of a shortage of vocations, the issue of celibacy must be addressed and the utilization of personnel must be studied. The report was prepared at the request of the Pope for the International Synod of Bishops, set to begin in Rome on November 25th. Joseph Cardinal Glemp, head of Poland's 32 million Catholics, visited the Delaware Valley last week. He celebrated Mass at St. Charles Seminary and visited Villanova University, the Shrine of Our Lady of Czestochowa, and St. Peter's Church in Philadelphia. He left for stops in Washington and Detroit and will return to Poland this week. The purpose of his visit to the U.S. was to thank Americans for their spiritual and financial support of the Polish Church. The Diocese of Trenton has a new director of communications and the media center. He's Father Joseph Glass, and he assumed his new duties on September 11th. Father Glass, formerly associate pastor of St. Charles Borromeo Parish in Cinnaminson, will also serve as executive director of the Trenton Monitor newspaper. That's the news. For In the Know, I'm Rosemary Bruno.
Thanks, Rosemary. We're going to take a break, but coming up we're going to have Dr. Richard Fitzgibbons with an associate in tonight's relationships.
And we'll take a look at a popular international organization, the Variety Club.
Stay with us.
Are you comfortable being close to someone of the opposite sex? Today we're going to discuss relationships between men and women. And with me is an associate, Mary Jane Brandt. In our practices, we find that serious problems exist in the Catholic community in relationships between men and women, between husbands and wives, between sisters and priests, and between those in the single state.
And this is a shame because it doesn't have to be this way. Relationships can be so enriching and so fulfilling. They can make us feel like we can do anything. One of the things that I have found is that when a couple comes to see me, usually there's a presenting problem, and so often it seems to be someone in the couple, maybe it's both of the couples, inability to express their feelings, what is really going on. Now, why is this? Why is it so darn difficult for people to be able to express what's really in their heart? Well, sometimes it seems to come from a person feeling stupid. I feel stupid when I express my feelings. But where does this come from? A lack of confidence. Maybe it's the families that we grew up in. Sometimes maybe the female in the relationship has come from a family where it was very easy to express love by doing things for others, not so much a verbal expression of love. And maybe for the man in the family, his dad, though his heart was loving and he cared deeply for everyone, just couldn't express it to the people in the family. I love you, or I think you're fantastic, I think you're wonderful.
Other problems in male-female relationships include problems of misunderstanding, just not really taking the time and energy to try to understand the person of the opposite sex. Other problems include misdirected anger from past painful relationships and unconscious emotional pain from childhood, which can erupt. Now, I'd like to make several suggestions to women about what you can do to improve the relationships with the men in your life. First, try to understand and appreciate that you really enrich the lives of the men around you, in the married state, in the single state, and in the religious state. You may not have been told this, but you really do. Secondly, try to understand men. The male world tends to be a much less complimentary world and affirming world than the female world. Therefore, it's more difficult for men to compliment and to praise than women. Third, please, don't overgeneralize. It upsets me when women categorize men and say that all men are insensitive or chauvinists or angry, and it simply isn't true. Many men in every life state are gentle, loving, and kind.
And I'd like to speak to the men. There are so many things that you, as very masculine men, so let's throw out that old-fashioned word, what did that mean? Now it means that we can compliment. You can compliment the women in your life. Praise them. I love to hear praise. Women love to hear praise and acknowledgement for the good things that they've done, for everything that they've done. It makes us feel good and worthwhile. Start future pacing, too. At the end of the day, try to leave your cares and woes behind you. Focus on where your family has been that day, what their lives have been like, so that when you enter the home, you can pick up where they are and be sensitive to all the things that are happening in your home to make the whole hour and reunion a good one. And start beginning to show emotions little by little. We're supposed to be Christians. Consider what that means. Christ-like. Christ showed emotions. It was very easy for him to cry and to feel joy and to feel sorrow. Start pacing yourself that way. And also, I really need to tell you this, so often the women who come to see me, when they're thinking about getting a divorce or just leaving the man, one of the things that starts this happening is they're living with someone who is not expressing his emotions. So they're not leaving for a man who's wealthier or a man who's more successful and brighter. They're leaving because he's not opening and sharing his heart. And you might even consider, when the day is over, come in and embrace. Give the person in your life a big hug. I know how that makes me feel. All my stress just disappears immediately, and I know that my husband feels really great when I return the embrace.
As always, a transcript of Dr. Fitzgibbon's message is available by writing us here at Reel to Reel. And this season, we're making a special offer.
We're compiling the talks of both Dr. Richard Fitzgibbons and Father Tom Legere from last season, and we're making them available to you. For a small donation of your choice, we'll send you the complete set of messages of either Dr. Fitzgibbons or Father Legere.
And for a donation of $15, we'll send you either a VHS or beta format videotape of Father Legere or Dr. Fitzgibbon's messages as they appeared here on Reel to Reel.
Get a pen and paper ready, because we're going to have an address for you in just a few moments. But coming up, we're going to take a look at a man who's supposed to be running a flooring business, but instead on any given day is working and working hard for the handicapped children of the Delaware Valley. This place doesn't look like much, but American Flooring specializes in making beautiful banks, hospitals, and other commercial buildings. But the real work that goes on here has little to do with beautiful floors. Instead, it has to do with beautiful kids. This is the office of Vince Marinello, the president of the American Flooring Company, which is located in Southwest Philadelphia. A resident of Wallingford, PA, Vince is a member of St. John Chrysostom Parish. He's married, a father of 3, and has become consumed with his efforts on behalf of the handicapped through the Variety Club.
I got involved with the Variety Club through playing golf, which is the love of my life. And that happened 7 years ago. We started a golf tournament for Variety Club in South Jersey. There's so many things that they do need, and I had the vehicle to do it with. And I decided to become a very, very deeply involved with Variety, and I don't regret it. Got started with a little child being found on a step in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, by a group that had a private club, and they used to meet maybe once a week, and when this meeting ended, they were all going home, and this was this child that was left on the doorstep, and there was a note there that said, "Would you kindly take care of my child?" because the woman was unable to do so. And through that, the gentlemen that were there decided to take care of this child and to take care of an awful lot of children like that were handicapped. Because a Variety is made up of theatrical people and show people, they decided to call their little communities tents. So we have chief barkers, and we have, then it goes down the line to first vice president, second vice president, treasurer, and secretary. And I'm secretary of 1013, and that encompasses Delaware Valley. I'm also president of the camp of 1013, which is probably the only one in the United States.
The camp is located in a rural section of Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. Offering services to the handicapped and their families year-round, one of its major programs is the summer camping experience offered to boys and girls under the supervision of summer camp director Steve Alper.
Vince is extremely important to our camp. As president of our camp board, he is the liaison between the organization, the campers, and the staff who have to implement the program here at our camp. Vince also must work with the members of the Variety Club organization in emphasizing the needs that are required for our summer camp program, the maintenance of our facilities, our capital improvement plan, our budgetary needs, fundraising, as well as an involvement directly with children as well as their parents, hospital, medical services. So Vince plays an extremely important role to thousands of physically handicapped children throughout the Delaware Valley.
In addition to camp programs, Vince has responsibility for the physical plant and acts as a liaison between members of Variety Club and the executive camp director and program formulator, Dr. Jeffrey Glick.
Vince has a key role in making sure that our facilities
provide the finest opportunity and programs for these children on a year-round basis. So Vince has been very instrumental in the winterization of the camp, expanding our facilities, and making sure that the direct services are expanded, because there are thousands of children whose needs are unmet.
In the ongoing effort to meet those unmet needs, a giant step has been taken in the opening of the new year-round pool and gym complex. Believe it or not, this has been made possible in part by the cooperation of the employees of American Flooring.
I'm extremely fortunate to have a staff here at American Floors that provides me that flexibility, and I'm thankful for that. That's the success of our business, and that allows me to do what I do for charities.
Even though Vince has the cooperation of his own staff and the people at the camp, the real source of his motivation is to be found in his own heart.
My Catholic upbringing has always taught me that the road to happiness is being charitable. And Variety Club has provided me with that vehicle. It's made me very happy and has given me many sleep, nights that I can sleep because I'm helping some people.
A visit to Vince Marinello and the Variety Club camp makes it clear that one man can and does make a difference. And so can you. Keep a lookout for Old Newsboys Day, the Variety Club Golf Classic, and the Variety Club Telethon coming up this year. And if you know someone who can be assisted by Variety Club, get in touch with us and we'll put you in touch. For you Father Tom Legere fans out there, we have a special show coming up next week. Reel to Reel is going on the road to Villanova University for a full half hour of relationships with Father Legere.
Father will talk directly to you, our audience, about our spiritual growth and our journey to God. And you'll get a chance to ask some questions about your spiritual relationships.
And don't forget to send us your comments. Write to us here at Reel to Reel, 222 North 17th Street, room 907, Philadelphia, PA, 19103.
So join us next week for a very special edition of Relationships. Good night.
Good night. And remember, Jesus is Lord.
Travel arrangements for Reel to Reel by Atkinson and Mullen Travel of Media, PA. Phone area 215-565-7070.